Today we're here with Andrew Stone, Stone Law. We're going to be discussing estate planning. So, Andrew, what is estate planning?
Estate planning is what you do when you need to have someone take care of your affairs, whether you've passed away, which is what everyone thinks of, or if you haven't passed away. Let's say you're sick, or you can't go to the bank for someone, or you just want to make someone else do all your chores.
Oh, okay. So who would need estate planning?
You know what? Everyone over the age of 18 needs estate planning. Because what happens if you can't make your own decisions at a doctor's office? Who has access to you? So even if you go off to college, who can your parents have access to you while you're there if you're in the hospital, if you get sick, if you get in a bike accident?
Oh, wow. So is that a will or a trust?
That would be a medical power of attorney. The other part of estate planning has to do with a will or a trust, and that's what happens to my stuff. Who manages it, who takes care of my kids, who takes care of my family, and then who moves that stuff from my name, or the trust name, to the people I want it to go to.
Oh, very interesting. So what is the process of getting a will or trust set up?
Usually what you want to do is you want to sit down with somebody who knows exactly what they're doing. Not somebody who just says, oh yeah, I'll pull a form for you, or everybody does a will, so that's really easy. You want someone who asks the right questions, who knows the right things, and can discuss issues that you may not have even thought of, but that could really affect how things go should you not be here.
Okay, so what is the process of getting something like this done?
You'd come into my office, you'd sit for about an hour, we'd discuss what your needs are, what your situations are, and then I'd give you all the options that would be available to you. Because you never want to be out of options and then out of money or choices.
Yeah. So how long does it take to get a will or trust set up?
Usually it's an initial meeting plus one more meeting that's a few weeks, 3 to 4 weeks later, where you finally sign all the documents. The whole process takes about a month. If we're doing something more complex, it could take longer, but that's the usual process.
Interesting, interesting. So is there a difference between a will and a trust? Are they the same or are they different?
They're actually very different. A will is something that only takes effect when you die. So it's a document you write that says, this is who my stuff goes to and this is who I want to get it there. A trust is something that's effective now, which means it owns the property. So the trust will still say where that property goes when you're gone, but we don't have to go to court to prove the authority to implement that document. And so in fact, it avoids a court proceeding where a will does not.
So Andrew, most people think that you can do a lot of this online with wills or even trust, I would imagine. What's the difference? Why should somebody go to an attorney?
Well, those online forms are generally designed to fit everyone. They're boilerplate. And while we do use boilerplate because we have to, that doesn't mean that when you fill out a form online that it's even asking the right questions or knows the issues that you may have. So the opportunity for you to make a mistake is actually much greater.
Wow, interesting. So it would definitely be beneficial to sit down with somebody so they can really find out your specific situation, not do something generic online.
Exactly. If you do
difference.
it generic online, are you going to have any guarantees that you know what's going to happen when you're gone? To be honest, you're not.
We're going to be talking about probate. Most people think they don't need or want to know anything about probate. But what is probate, Andy?
Probate is actually a court hearing, a lawsuit that allows a court to appoint someone to take care of your affairs when you've passed away. If you have a will, you still have to go through probate. All the will does is say, this is who I want to do those things and this is where I want it to go. Also, you don't need very much property to still have to go through probate. If in your own name you have more than $64,000 worth of property, or you have any real estate, that could include a timeshare or just a small vacant piece of land, that could still mean that you have to go to court to move it if we don't plan for that ahead of time.
So does it cost money to go to probate?
It sure does. There are court filing fees and publication fees that go with every probate, but typically you're going to have to pay a lawyer or somebody else to help you through that process as well. So it does cost money to go through probate. In my office, it'll typically cost between $4,000 and $10,000 by the time we're done with a probate.
Wow.
If people start fighting, it can actually cost more. Sometimes there are alternatives to probate that are cheaper. But amazingly enough, Colorado is actually one of the lower priced states when it comes to probate.
So what is the process of probate?
Probate involves filling out a whole bunch of court forms, telling the court who passed away, who has the authority to say these things, giving the court the original will. The court will verify all of these things, and then typically they'll let the personal representative, sometimes people call them an executor, off to do the administration, to collect all the assets, to put them into a centralized account or know how much value they have, and then distribute them where the person who passed away goes.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
If you want to find more about estate planning, wills, trust, and how to manage your assets, visit their website at stonelawllc.com and set up your free consultation.